Well, welcome everybody who's joining us for the Police Chief Recommendation Committee virtual meeting. We've had 3 community meetings in person, but this is the one just to try and be as inclusive as possible for those that could not make any of the other 3 meetings. My name is Joe Casey. I serve as the county administrator, but also have a dual role as far as being on the Police Chief Recommendation Committee. And I'm just going to just briefly just give for public disclosure what is this process we're about to go through. And then I will be turning it over to our Baker Tilly folks who have been contracted by the county, by the Police Chief Recommendation Committee to help facilitate the best process to attract and recruit and help us facilitate a hiring process for the best potential next police chief. The Chesterfield County is very unique in the state of Virginia, perhaps across the country, in that we are codified per our county charter, which is embedded in the Code of Virginia, as far as hiring the police chief. There can be localities that don't necessarily have those parameters, that could have one police chief leave on a Tuesday and another one hired on a Wednesday. That cannot happen in Chesterfield County per law. And basically what that means is that in the law, there is a police chief recommendation committee that's comprised of 5 people. 3 of them are appointed by the Board of Supervisors. One is a person amongst the board members themselves, that is Jessica Schneider as a board member. The second is a citizen with police experience, and the Board of Supervisors has chosen Kevin Carroll in that role for his longstanding career in the police department, but he is also serves as a board member, but he is serving in the capacity as the citizen with police experience. The third person is a citizen at large, if you will, and that person is Dr. Kevin Sykes. The 2 other people are in the committee are myself by title, county administrator, and then the 5th person is an appointee of the Chief Circuit Court judge. Judge Johnson has appointed Judge Robbins to serve in that role. So the 5 of us have met twice as a formal committee. We're actually meeting through these community meetings, and this one being virtual, but we did adjourn at our last in-person meeting to these various community meetings and virtual. What we are doing as part of those 2 meetings we have was working and selecting Baker Tilly as the contracted source. And we used people on this particular team 7 years ago, quite frankly, when we went through the prior police chief process. In addition, the committee helped formulate and approve the job profile that's being used as the advertisement, as well as, again, all these various community meetings, and more importantly, or just as important, the community survey that's out there as well. The questions that will be facilitated tonight are also being utilized as part of the community survey. Lastly, the committee approved the process by which we intervene with and talk with the police department employees themselves. And we had 3 such in-person community meetings just with police department employees, for which the people of the committee, such as myself, actually excused ourselves from the meeting after a brief introduction so that the police department employees could feel comfortable just amongst the consultant to address any needs or concerns that they may want as part of the process. And we are going through a variety of virtual meetings with the police department as well, just in respect of all the different shifts in the 24/7 nature. All of that will be concluding this week. The application is posted online through July 29th. The community survey is out there as well. It's for those, you'll see it as part of the presentation tonight, but you also can access that from the chesterfield.gov homepage. So with that said, I will be turning it over to a team of Ann Lewis, Michelle Lopez, and Yolanda House. Apologize, Yolanda. And I will leave it to them to take us through it. I'll be listening, and we may have other committee members who are also listening as well, because everything that you're about to say is going to be taken and aggregated as much as possible so that we have the lens of the community, we have the lens of the police department employees in making the best informed decision as we proceed. So Yolanda, I'll defer to you. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Casey. All right. So good evening, everyone. We are excited to assist in this process in recruiting Chesterfield County's next police chief. And your input is important to the county in terms of providing information that could assist in finding that next police chief. What we do is take your information that you provide today via chat, and we will use that information as part of the interview process in terms of developing interview questions, in terms of vetting the candidates as we go throughout the process, and looking at what you would like to see in your next police chief. So we have a series of questions that we'll be asking you. What you see here is what I'm going to share on the screen. Scan the QR code and you can participate in the survey. We'll share it at the end as well. You can also scan the QR code that you see here to look at the police chief's recruitment profile that we work together with to develop with the county for the search. So we have a series of questions that we'll be going through, and we'll ask you to add your comments. And please know, as I'm sure you are aware, that anything that you add in the comment section is public information and will be there indefinitely. So keep that in mind. All right. So this is our team. I'm Yolanda Housey, and you've just seen Ann Lewis as we've gone through the technical difficulties, and now you will, and you've also seen Michelle Lopez. Again, the QR codes, and we'll share that at the end as well. All right, first question. What traits and skills do you feel are important for the police chief to possess? So in looking for your next police chief, what are some of the traits and skills you feel are important for the police chief to possess? We'll give you a couple of minutes to respond if you'd like to comment. Any comments regarding the traits and skills you feel are important for the new police chief as we start looking through the candidates? What traits and skills should we be looking for in your next police chief for Chesterfield County? Okay. Michelle, Ann, are you seeing any comments?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have some comments here. We have ability to think outside of the box, strategic thinker, passion for serving the community.
Okay.
We have a respect for constitutional protections.
All important.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know when to proceed, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye out here. All right, well, let's go to our next.
Okay, we'll go to the next question. Keep in mind, the survey instrument is very similar here to what we're showing here. So if you do not get an opportunity to comment this way. You can always complete the survey. Again, that's due by July 29th. It'll be out there until that time, and we'll close it out for no further comments after that. All right, so we'll go to the next. Went too fast. Okay. Okay, so what public safety priorities are important to you? As a community member of Chesterfield County, what public safety priorities are important to you? Any comments coming in, Michelle?
We have a couple of comments here. Looks like crime is definitely a public safety priority. The wellness of police employees, that's a good one. Bringing the and bringing the community together.
Okay. Any ideas about how to bring the community together? And I know someone mentioned crime, and I'm sure that means just being aware and deterring it. But are there any specifics behind that?
Visibility.
Visibility of the police chief in the community?
We have listening to community needs.
Okay.
Transparency.
Transparency, what does that look like? Transparency in what?
We have empathy and caring.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that goes for the employees as well as the community and those served within that community, within the Chesterfield community. Anything else in terms of public safety priorities that are important to you as a community member?
We have a comment here to ensure police employees have state-of-the-art equipment and technology.
Okay, good one. And they do have, I think that they are doing a very good job of that from our understanding, but there is always room for improvement in anything that we do. So just keeping that at the forefront and sustaining and improving upon that is always great.
Absolutely. And then we have accountability to the community and transparency about policies and discipline.
Okay. Transparency about policies and discipline. That's a tough one. I think that to the extent that they can, but we will definitely pass on that information. Just as an HR professional, it's a little hard sometimes when with the discipline part of things because it's personnel issues, and so a lot of that is to be within the organization. But I'm sure there are some things that could possibly be disclosed and that they could do the best that they can to make sure that that happens. when it's appropriate.
Absolutely.
Anything else in terms of public safety priorities?
Yeah, we have a couple another great comments here. Another priority being understanding policing trends at local, state, and federal levels.
Okay, that's great.
Ensuring access to training for staff.
I think that came up a few times before, and I know that they're doing a lot of that, but again, always room for improvement.
Absolutely. Keeping politics out of police policies and how the department operates.
Okay, that's a new one. Thank you. Again, we'll be sharing your comments with the police selection committee, police chief recruitment committee, and they will utilize your comments to review the applicants and prepare for the interview process and making sure that they select the right candidate. They'll utilize everything as appropriate, and we'll summarize the information and provide it to them. Anything else before I go on to the next question, Michelle?
We just got another big one, Yolanda. Recruitment and retention.
Yeah, always at the forefront. And my understanding is Chesterfield County is doing a great job. Again, always room for improvement, because when there's a vacancy, there's always room for improvement. And so, and also making sure you recruit the right people. But in terms of their status, I think they're doing a lot better than we see across the country in that way, in terms of recruiting and retention. So kudos on that, but again, always room for improvement.
And especially too, as the county continues to grow, we have another priority here, planning for growth in the county.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, okay to go on?
Yep.
Okay, so the next question is, if you were doing the police chief interviews and you were allowed to ask one question, what question would you ask the police chief candidates in that interview process? What question would you want to add the police chief candidates if you were on the other side of the table as an interviewer?
What is your policing philosophy?
Okay, good one. I like that. That's important. What else?
We have a comment here. Will you rest when I call?
Will you rest when I call? Okay.
Will you come when I call?
Will you come when I call? Okay. Thank you. Any other questions out there that you would want to ask the police chief candidate?
We have a comment here. How do you intend to deal with and prevent abuse or racism in your ranks?
Mm. Okay.
We have a question
That
here
sa-
yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say that sounds like a diversity, equity, and inclusion question.
Absolutely.
Go
And
ahead,
then
Michelle.
what would be your top 3 priorities as chief?
Okay.
It's a good one.
Good one. I like that. Any other questions you will want to make sure to ask the police chief candidate?
We have one about hiring. Will you hire based on merit only?
Mm. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? The open-ended ones are always good.
Mhm.
Behavioral questions are always good.
Yeah, communication and relationship development questions. We have another one. How would you develop relationships with your staff?
Mm-hmm. Good one. That's what it's about, communication and relationship.
Hmm?
Get the work done. Okay, I'll move on. Is it okay, Michelle, or you see others coming through?
Yeah, I think we're ready to move on.
Okay. It's delayed a little bit for some reason. Okay. Okay, we just have a couple more questions for you. And so, what advice, if any, would you give the next police chief? So, if I'm your new police chief and I invite you to come and talk to me, what advice, what one piece of advice would you give to me?
And while you think about a response for that one, we have another question coming in. How will your lines of communication between department members as well as community members look like?
Mm,
Mhm.
yeah, back to communication. Always good. So, what advice would you give me as your new police chief? My first day on the job, what do you want to tell me? Or what advice would you want to give me?
We have one piece of advice: to accept no nonsense. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I like it. What else? Any other advice I should have as your new police chief?
We have a reapproachable open door policy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. We heard that quite a bit. Okay. What else? Anything else coming through, Michelle? Any other advice?
Nothing yet here.
Okay. Well, while we're thinking about that, I'll go to the last one. Last question. It's a catch-all. Is there anything else you would like Chesterfield County to consider when evaluating candidates for the position of police chief? If the questions that we asked earlier did not capture what you would have wanted to convey, is there anything else that you'd like Chesterfield County to consider as they're evaluating the candidates for the position of police chief?
Yeah, we have some more advice here for the next chief: to listen and observe,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, right? That transparency again.
Yes.
We have a comment here to create policies that deal with effectively dealing with mental health crises.
Awesome. And I guess, yeah, I think that all around, within and externally.
We have a comment here that the need to understand that Chesterfield is a unique community. It's separate from surrounding jurisdictions. The trends, enforcement actions, and interactions with the community are very specific to this county.
Okay. Yeah, you can't assume that what you did elsewhere will work for Chesterfield County. So that's very important to like listen and observe and get to know the county and move as appropriate in that way. Very good. Anything else? While you're thinking, I'll pull up the last slide, which also has the QR code on there again for you to complete the survey. If there's something that you did not get to state today, feel free to go on and complete the survey by July 29th. And again, the survey code QR code is also on the Chesterfield County's website homepage.
And also a reminder that Baker Tilly, we will conduct the review of candidates and we will send select candidates to the police chief recommendation committee for their review. They will then narrow down that field to the best candidates on their end, and those candidates will then go on to the board for final review and selection.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All of the information that you are sharing today and within the surveys, we will be taking all of this into account as we do our review of the candidates. And then all of these results will be sent to the board to assist in their review as well.
Mm-hmm. Any additional comments? Questions? We'll wait about 45 seconds, see if anything pops up before we conclude the call or the live. In the meantime, thank you for your participation today. And again, share the survey instrument with your friends and family business owners that reside within the community or have businesses within the community of Chesterfield County. Any and all are welcome to complete the survey. Anything further, Michelle?
I think we're ready to wrap it up.
Okay. Thank you. Have a great evening. Take care.